In the NHL, true championship-level teams are built through the draft. Well, except for maybe the Vegas Golden Knights. But the majority of the time, a team's franchise talents have to be acquired in the draft because logically, who would trade a franchise talent away? For the Ottawa Senators, a franchise that had spent the better part of a decade searching for a true North Star, a successor to the era of Erik Karlsson, that stardom now belongs to a kid from Viersen, Germany. Now before I go any further, Brady Tkachuk is the heartbeat of the Ottawa Senators, but this video is about having a true game-breaking ability. And that game-breaker is none other than Tim Stützle. If you haven't been paying attention to what he's been doing in Ottawa or on the world stage right now in Milan, you're missing the show. So this is the story of how a teenager from Germany became the future of an entire organization. To understand where Tim Stützle is going, we have to look back at where it all started. Most NHL stars spend their teenage years in the CHL, NCAA, or perhaps the top leagues in Sweden or Finland. Stützle, he was a prodigy excelling in a league full of grizzled veterans and former NHLers. At 17 years old, he wasn't just surviving with Adler Mannheim in the Dell, he was proving he belonged in conversation as the best player in the 2020 draft class. In the 2019-2020 season, playing against grown men some twice his age, Stützle put up 34 points in 41 games. To put that in perspective, he finished first in Dell history for points per game by an under-18 player. He wasn't just a passenger on a deep roster. He was a primary play driver, a kid who could take the puck in high-pressure situations and make veteran defensemen look like they were skating in mud. But the real spark, the moment the global hockey world realized this wasn't just a great prospect but a superstar talent, happened at the 2021 World Junior Championships. The context here is vitally important for the history books. The German squad was ravaged by COVID-19 protocols, forced to play their opening games with a skeleton crew of only 14 skaters. They were the ultimate underdogs, a team many expected to be an afterthought. But then, Stützle happened. Captaining that squad, he was a force of nature. He dominated the pace of play against the world's elite. He ended up recording 10 points in 5 games, dragging Germany to the playoff round for the first time in their history. In the quarterfinal against Russia, he was arguably the best player on either team, nearly willing his team to a historic upset. He was named the tournament's best forward, outshining a field of high-round draft picks. So rewinding to when Ottawa called his name at 3rd overall in the 2020 draft, announced famously by the late Alex Trebek in a moment that will forever be part of franchise lore, they weren't just drafting a high-end prospect. They were drafting a true leader who had already proven he would elevate in the biggest moments. The jump to the NHL is supposed to be a mountain too steep for most teenagers. The ice is smaller, the players are faster, and the physicality is suffocating. But Stützle treated it like a formality. While the 2020 draft class saw its fair share of growing pains, Stützle's trajectory was a vertical line. We saw the flashes early, the soft hands, and the vision that seemed 2 seconds ahead of everyone else, but the 2022-23 season was the official coming out party. He exploded for 90 points as a 21-year-old. He became the youngest player in that elite scoring bracket, rubbing shoulders with names like Matthews and Crosby. He scored 39 goals that year, shooting at a career-high 17.1%. For the first time, the league wasn't just scouting him as a playmaker, they were fearing him as a finisher as well. However, great players aren't defined solely by their peak years. They're defined by how they respond to the slump. The 2023-24 season was a test of character. His goal totals dipped to 18, and the critics, those who only look at the back of a hockey card, called it a regression. But the film told a different story. He was evolving into a two-way center, refining his defensive positioning, and learning the nuances of a 200-foot game under the guidance of Jacques Martin. He was learning that to win in the NHL, you can't just outskate people. You have to outthink and out-effort them as well. Since, he has become a staple on the penalty kill, transforming from an offensive weapon into a complete franchise center. Then came the 2024-25 campaign. This was the year the rebuild label was finally stripped away in Ottawa. The Senators finished with 45 wins and 97 points, ending an agonizing 8-year playoff drought. And at the center of it all, literally and figuratively, was number 18. Stützle finished the regular season with 79 points, but the real story was his underlying metrics. His wins above replacement was staggering, putting him in the upper echelon of NHL forwards. He was no longer just an exciting young player. He was statistically one of the most valuable assets in the sport. When the 2025 Stanley Cup playoffs arrived, the atmosphere in Ottawa was electric. Facing the Maple Leafs in a high-stakes first-round battle of Ontario, Stützle was great. In a gritty 6-game battle, he didn't shrink. He put up 5 points, played over 21 minutes a night, and was hitting everything in sight. That series loss was a heartbreak, but for Stützle, it was an important step. He had tasted the fire of the postseason and was ready to take the next step in his career. Now let's talk about the 2025-2026 season, the season we are currently witnessing. If last year was a graduation, then this year is a coronation. Through 57 games, Stützle has already tallied 28 goals and 61 points. He was on a 7-game point streak headed into the Olympic break, including a 5-game goal streak that marks the longest of his career. He isn't just scoring, he's taking over games. He's winning 53.6% of his faceoffs, a massive jump from his early career marks. He is the first player over the boards on the power play and often the first player over the boards on the penalty kill. He has become the ultimate Swiss Army knife for Travis Green, a coach who demands accountability and defensive structure. What makes him so dangerous? If you ask a scout, they'll tell you it starts with the edges. Stützle is an incredible skater, not just in a straight line, but in his ability to change directions without losing an ounce of momentum. He is currently in the 97th percentile for max skating speed, reaching 23.54 miles per hour this season. But there's a narrative around Tim Stützle that he is systematically dismantling. People see the creativity, and the flashy moves, and the diving narratives, and they assume he's soft. The data says otherwise. Stützle has logged over 100 hits in each of his last 4 seasons, and is well on track to surpass it again this year. In his 90-point breakout year, he racked up 114 hits, and this season he already has 89 hits in 57 games. He isn't just dancing around you, he's willing to go through you as well. He's got that dog in him, that internal combustion engine that refuses to be outworked. He's far more physical than he gets credit for, and this includes him often using his body to shield the puck in a cycle before exploding into a high-danger scoring area. As we sit here in February 2026, the world is watching Milan for the Winter Olympics. This is best on best hockey. No excuses, no secondary rosters, and on this stage, Tim Stützle has looked excellent. In Germany's opening game against Denmark just days ago, he took the ice and reminded everyone why he belongs in the conversation with the absolute elite. 2 goals in a 3-1 victory. He didn't just score, he dictated the tempo. Alongside Leon Draisaitl, Stützle is forming a dual threat down the middle that makes Germany a difficult out for any team in this tournament. He's carrying the momentum of his NHL success straight into the Olympic Village, playing with a level of confidence that suggests he knows he belongs on the same ice as the Crosbys and McDavids of the world. Think about the burden he carries. In Ottawa, he is the hope of a city. In Germany, he is a symbol of a nation's hockey renaissance. And yet, at 24 years old, he handles it with a smile and a level of composure that defies his age. He isn't just a player who puts up points. He's a player who changes the gravity of the game. When he's on the ice, the other team has to react to him. They have to change their defensive pairings and they have to play more conservatively. That is the true mark of a superstar. So where does he go from here? The standard for Tim Stützle is moved. We're no longer asking if he can be an all-star, we're asking if he can be a 100-point superstar. We're asking if he can be the piece that finally brings a parade to Ottawa. He has the skating of a speedster, the brain of a playmaker, and the shot of a sniper, all with the grit of a power forward. And when you combine those elements into one player, the limit becomes a myth. He has embraced the city of Ottawa, and in return, the city has embraced him as their own. Whether he's hunting for a medal in Milan or hopefully leading the Senators into another playoff run, one thing is certain. Tim Stützle is no longer the future, he is the now. He is the German game breaker, and we're all just witnesses to his ascension. For the Ottawa Senators and Team Germany, the sky is the limit. And as he continues to mature, as his face-off win rate climbs, as his defensive awareness sharpens, and his physical strength peaks, the league is put on notice. The kid from Viersen is here, and he isn't going anywhere. To really appreciate the statistical jump Stützle has taken, we need to look at the elite company he now keeps. At 23 and 24 years old, players like Nathan MacKinnon and Jack Hughes were just beginning to touch their true offensive ceilings. Stützle is well on that curve. His point totals over the last 4 seasons have him ranking 17th in the entire league. But what separates him from the pure scorers is the heavy lifting he does in all 3 zones. In fact, he has already surpassed his career high in shorthanded ice time this season. The chemistry he has built with Brady Tkachuk is the cornerstone of this team's success. It is the classic fire and ice dynamic. Tkachuk provides the grit, the net front presence, and the emotional spark, while Stützle provides the finesse and the precision to move the puck through the tight spaces. But what we've seen lately is a slight role reversal, or rather a growing role for Stützle. He too is the one initiating contact, finishing checks, and drawing his team into battle. Looking toward the back half of the 2026 season, the Senators are in a fierce battle for positioning in the Atlantic Division. Every game feels like a playoff preview, and as the pressure ratchets up, Stützle seems to get better. He has developed a clutch gene that was evident in his late winner against the Penguins on February 2nd and overtime winner against the Flyers on the 5th. Against Philly, he blew past Travis Sanheim and easily deked around the goaltender. That is the killer instinct of a franchise player. Tim Stützle has met every challenge with a relentless desire to be the best. He has taken the weight of a rebuilding franchise and turned it into the momentum of a team ready to contend. He is the heart of Ottawa, the pride of Germany, and one of the most exciting talents in the entire NHL. As we watch him continue his run in Milan and push for a postseason run in Ottawa, we are watching a superstar entering his prime. The German has arrived, and the NHL is in trouble. If you enjoyed this video, I'd really appreciate it if you left it a like and subscribe to the channel. Also be sure to leave a comment down below letting me know your thoughts, and as always, I'll see you in the next one.